All right, a good Saturday afternoon to you. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist John Dawson. Glad you're here with us for a quick little weather update for you, as the Houston area will be able to avoid most of the stormy weather, but we are beginning right on time to see the active storms for southeast Texas and also moving over to the eastern portions of the U.S. begin to fire up a little bit. What I want you to start off here by noticing is this lightning counter. Look how in the last 30 minutes we go from one lightning strike up to 54 lightning strikes. So this is the time in which these storms are starting to accelerate in their organization, in their strength, and all of the threats that we've been talking about the last couple of days are starting to come into play as far as that timing goes. And again, right on time. I was expecting between 4 and 5 o'clock for the more active storms to really get going, and we're right on time with that. And again, the good news for the city of Houston is that most of these stronger storms will stay to the northeast. And so for the Fox 26 area, we're talking about Polk County as well as Liberty County. That's some of the areas that we're going to be able to see. Trinity County as well up there, and maybe a little bit over into San Jacinto County. But really, that's sort of this line of storms associated with a cold front that's moving through, already beginning to kind of push on. Now, the colder air in this cold front is going to need a little bit more time to kind of make its way down. These storms are out a little bit ahead of the actual boundary itself. But let's get in a little bit closer here and see what we've got going. Really, if you're in the Livingston area, that's where the stormier of the weather is right now. And yes, when I talked about that lightning count, as we get a little bit closer, you could just kind of barely see behind the radar banner. That's where most of that lightning is taking place. So our counter here showing the lightning strikes maybe that we can't really see because it's underneath our banner. Back down towards to the Houston area, those storms are still dropping some rain, maybe a little bit of rumble of thunder thrown in there, but for the most part, that's staying to the northeast, especially of what we're talking about as far as the downtown Houston area. So if you are down south of downtown Houston along the coast, you'll be seeing this broken line of showers, and notice how much lighter it is. It doesn't have the yellows, the oranges, and the reds indicating those heavier downpours, but there is going to be some rain kind of mixed in there, and that'll get to Galveston Island here within an hour and a half or so, and then we'll see the rest of that rain again moving through the metro area, we'll call it, of Houston. And that's where we find one of our tower cams. This is looking back towards the Williams Tower and the Galleria area. See a little bit of a shake here. That's the windy conditions. Looks like a little bit of a break from the rain right now, but I know that we saw that moving through earlier. And here are the winds in the downtown Houston area. I think technically this is Hobby Airport, what I'm showing you. Southwest winds at 19 miles an hour. And I point out the specific location partly because of the winds, but also because of the temperatures at 76 degrees. When I show you our area temperatures in a minute, you'll see where some of that colder air is. So here's that trough, or that little prefrontal area out ahead of the actual boundary itself. And this is what's going to really help to kick off the showers and the storms that we're seeing. And then that colder air sweeps in, and we'll really begin to feel windy conditions tomorrow because of that. And then the coldest air that we're going to see because of this frontal system is actually Monday morning. We've got some even colder air, though, kind of on the way. So here's that sort of area that I was concerned about as far as the severe storms are going to be expected. And this is one of those scenarios where we could really look at any of the severe weather. Hail is going to be a threat. We're going to look at some tornadic possible activity as well as some damaging winds. And so Houston, not included in this area of significant risk. We're in what we're referring to as the elevated area, just our northeastern counties. And right now we're beginning to see that fire up. So as these storms are firing up and continuing to get stronger, those stronger storms are eventually going to end up over into Louisiana and further to our east. And we could see that in the severe weather outlook, same sort of scenario here. We show this quite a bit, and we talk about that 5 levels of threat levels. And the green here representing the bottom, the 1 out of 5 risk. And so that's going to be those areas in the Fox 26 viewing area. And then when we get to the likely and the very likely, that's over further Mississippi, Alabama. That's where the concerns are, and Louisiana, parts of Arkansas even thrown in. So this is for us, Saturday threats for the Houston area. Lightning being one of those. I'm expecting to continue to see more of that happening. And then the rest of those threats are pretty low. Not zero, but pretty low. We'll sort of see how that kind of unfolds as we continue on through. So kind of a little break here, a little timeout to review what's happening with what's coming at you this week. Right now, we're seeing that front begin out ahead of the front itself to bring in some of that rain. The boundary itself moves in the overnight hours. That'll push all the rain on out. So the rain will continue to end after midnight. It'll certainly get breezy, though. If you happen to be out late, you're going to feel those winds really kicking up. They'll be out of the west and then eventually the north, and that's when the colder air starts to move in. Chilly day on Sunday with those breezy north winds throughout the day, slowly clearing in the morning. We'll have definite full sunshine in the afternoon. And then we'll have another front coming later in the week, and that's the one that's really going to remind us that it's winter here in the Houston area, where we've had a little bit of a break, it feels like, from any wintry-like weather. I told you about those temperatures. You can kind of see here how our northern and northwestern areas in the 60s, the rest of us in the 70s, and even a warm 77 degrees in Pearland. Angleton also at 77. So that cooler air is going to move in overnight, and our futurecast shows how the rain exits here pretty quickly. I think by 10 o'clock, we'll be done with the rain. The clouds still with us as we get past midnight, but then we clear those out. You'll notice here these arrows with the large bands that are on there. That's indicating those very breezy conditions, and we'll continue to see that. So tonight, overnight, some of us in the upper 30s, the rest of us about 40 degrees or maybe a little milder right along the coast. I'm not expecting freezing temperatures this evening. In other words, Sunday morning, we're not looking for those freezing temperatures, although it's been a while since we've seen those 30s, so that's going to be a bit chilly waiting for you. And giving you an idea of what we're talking about as far as the temperatures go, we're in the mid 70s today. Tomorrow, those breezy conditions, we're stuck in the 50s. I do expect close to freezing on Monday morning, and then in the afternoon, I know it's a holiday for many folks, not everybody, but many folks are going to have a holiday. Pretty good looking day to be outside, I think. Temperatures a little bit more reasonable, and we certainly won't have as windy of conditions, but it'll be about lower 60s is what we're looking at. So we're still set up to continue to bring in that surge of colder air with our upper level dynamics, and so that's kind of what's helping to kind of drop down quite a bit of colder temperatures. Here's that Monday morning when I was talking about near freezing for some of us, not all of us, but near freezing. Conroe about 33, Katy at 34, Cypress at 35, and again, give or take a little in here. The city of Houston closer to 36 degrees, and then over to our east and closer to the water about 38. But when I was talking about colder air coming, here's the difference. This is Thursday morning. So I've jumped ahead quite a bit in time. Want to make sure we're very clear. If you don't have the volume up, make sure you hear what I'm saying. This is Thursday morning, all right? So we got a little bit of time to prep for this, but this could be a hard freeze for some of us. When we get down to 24 or below for multiple hours, that's that hard freeze criteria. So start thinking about that already. Remember, we had 7 days in a row of 80 degrees or warmer in the afternoon. This will be a bit of a change for us when we wake up with temperatures in the 20s. And again, most of us will be at least in the 20s, maybe not lower 20s, but 20. So plan for that on Thursday morning. Our extended forecast here keeps that outlook where much colder air, this is the 6 to 10 day outlook moving forward past our 7 day. This is where that colder air is still going to be. So be ready for that. We're included in that below average number. So let's put it all together here in the 7 day forecast as we're wrapping things up. Remember, the rain that we're seeing tonight, we're continuing to move that out of our area. There will increase in strength. So if you're in the northeastern portions of our viewing area, those storms are continuing to grow a little bit stronger. Tomorrow, much different. It starts off so much cooler. We'll have about 40 degrees in the morning. Then we'll have only 50s in the afternoon with those breezy conditions. The winds let up on Monday. That's the holiday. Starting out in the 30s. We're seeing another front late on Tuesday. Takes another day, though, before the really cold air gets here. That's going to be that possible hard freeze that I talked about on Thursday morning. And then maybe freezing again on Friday morning, especially for some of us. And I can't quite drop all the rain chances as we're headed into next weekend, but it doesn't look especially stormy at this point. But we could certainly have some showers and some light rain around as we wrap up the week and start next weekend. And look how much cooler those temperatures are overall. On Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're stuck in the 40s for the high temperatures in the afternoons. And then we've got 20s and 30s in the morning, and then we'll probably do 30s again even on Saturday morning. So we'll keep you updated, of course, as these storms are getting a little bit more organized the rest of today and into this evening. But my plan is right now that I won't be back on here until the 5 o'clock newscast. So however you're watching me right now, remember at 5 p.m. we'll have our full newscast right here on Fox Local, on the Fox 26 weather app, on Fox 26 news app, the website, however you're watching me. Come on back here in about 49 minutes. Tom Ziska will be with me, and we'll do a full 5 o'clock newscast, bring you the latest on our weather. I'll expect to see you then.